routes. Let's go inside the controllers and start building out these views. So we'll start with the Revenger since that's the most fun, I guess. And we'll have to do the collection select, right? You sure? Why? Is it because it belongs to? It is because it belongs to, but more specifically, it's because it has a foreign key and you'll want to like select something, right? So you're all correct. Def index, right? And this is going to be what? All right, great. So, and this is going to just implicitly render the index. Cool. So inside my views, I will probably need something like, right? All right. Eat. All right. So we probably want to iterate through and show all the Revengers. Cool. Cool. Why am I using .each there? Revengers is how many? Yeah, it's basically more than one, right? I'm sorry, it can be more than one, is what I should say. If there was only one Revenger in my database, do I still have to do .each? What does Revengers.all return? An active record collection proxy, but an array-like object, right? I'm like just trying to drill it in because it's important. So I'm just gonna do, what is it, Revengers into the console here, and let's see what this is. Ready? Revenger.all. And check the class. All right. So active record relation, but that look like an array, right? So you're fine. Right. So that's why. Even if one item is in it, it's still like an array of one. So you should be doing .each on it. Cool. And then what do we have here? Alias, I think that's what we called it. Cool. Let's just see if this works. And how do I check out this view page? Localhost / noise. There it is, the mulk, my favorite. Ready? So it's important where you start the tags in regards to how it works, right? So like I'm opening the OL here and I'm ending it here. If I end the OL inside the iteration, what it's going to do is it opens here, it closes, and then it will just create like 3 more closing tags. Does that make sense? So your HTML might get a little like wonky, but it's okay. So here inside the iteration, I'm going to probably make for each of these, oh, that's not where I want them, like the li tag. And that way I have an opening and a closing, and then I have like 3 LIs inside. Right? So just where you write it is important. Just kind of think through these things. So I have the alias, and what we wanted to do is see them. Nice. All right, let's blow that up a little bit. And what we want to do is we want to create this like delete button, right? So where would I want to create the delete button? Do I want to make a delete button here? Why not? That's right. I'm only making one delete button here. What I want to do is make a delete button for each of these Revengers. Is there anywhere in my code, this long code base that I've written, where I'm already going through each of the Revengers? Of course. So I can slide that in, you know, a little button 2 action. And what does button 2 take as the first argument? All right? Right? Yeah, like how do superheroes like pass away? Vanquish? All right. Vanquish, cool. And what's the second argument? Retire? They get Thanos? They get snapbacked. You know what I mean? All right, let's just leave vanquished, right? What's the second argument? The route, right? So what is it going to be? The Revenger's path. What is the actual URL? Slash ID or no ID? Okay. Let me ask you a serious question. In this path, the delete path, will you need to know which one you're deleting? Okay. Yeet. If you forget, and it happens all the time, you can always go back to Vicky's powerful resource, and you can put Revengers. And what is the delete path? Bloop, 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 right? In case you forget. And also, just to fully think through, the Revengers with this ID will hit what route? A delete? A delete to slash Revengers, going to Revengers. Remember, delete's like the only time you see delete. Everything else is destroy, right? Revengers destroy. Cool. And then inside the Revengers controller, you will need what controller action? Cool. I usually spelled the story. And what do you need to do in here? The Revenger is equal to the find with the. Now, check this out. If inside your index, if this did not have the ID, it doesn't have the same effect, right? The picture, it's all right. It still works. Can you use params ID? If I did a delete to slash Revengers, where's my params ID coming from? Nowhere. So I need to have it. Need to have it per. Yeah? The ID needs to be there. Does that make sense? So you can all see how it's like, as you get more practice, like why it's wired up this way, as opposed to like, I'm gonna rote memorize it, because it'll break on you. Right? And then what do you do with the Revenger? Destroy, right? You vanquish, right? Wouldn't that be nice to just have like a vanquish method? And then where do you want to send this thing to? To the index? The Revenger path, right? Why can I not send it to the show page? It's deleted, right? Cool. So what I should see in my index is a vanquish button going to this route. A button 2 will give me what in HTML? What? Yes. What would a button 2 build me? What does button 2 build in HTML? A form, right? And forms by default do what HTTP request? So this will actually, as it is, post to Revengers slash ID. Is that what we want? What do we want? I think this is its own optional argument. And I think it needs lowercase delete, because last time I did capital, I didn't like that. Smart. Cool. So if I actually go back to this powerful app, I see this vanquish button. Why were you all surprised? You saw the code. You're like, oh snap, there it is. All right, cool. There it is, a delete to Revengers 1. As this will do a delete to Revengers 3. Cool, so I can't remember who asked, but whoever it was, or for everyone, are you cool with making this delete button for each of the things on this index? Cool. And I think the next question was like, how do I make the edit? Let's find out. Okay. What's the route for patch? Is it /edit right here? No? What am I trying to actually do though? When I hit edit, what do I want to see? What do I want to happen? I should see the edit page, right? So what is the URL for the edit page? This. And then what's the method for it? Is it patch? Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Upgrade the R. Actually, let's do this. A little bit of this. That didn't work out. Actually, it's already Ruby. Embarrassing. I have to interpolate it, right? Bloop, bloop. Oh, that was really helpful. Cool. And there's no more LIs. Whatever. We don't need this. Boom. And there's a button to upgrade the captain can't. Whatever. That didn't work out. Anyways, you know how to fix this, right? All right. Yeah, I always talk about my Scottish friend. She always says like before things. She's like, hey, you guys, I used to play Call of Duty with her. She's like, hey, you want to get on some Call of Duty right now? I was like, okay, sure. Is that where you get the name? I did, yeah. And if you haven't got any, right, like if I don't have the time, she says like, so when she says haven't got any, she says, haven't you got any? And I was like, oh. Either way, so cool. Button for delete, button to edit. Will this bring me anywhere right now? Will this bring me anywhere right now? Let's think through how Rails works, right? I click this, there's a get action. There's a get to this route. The first thing I should think about is what? Does this route exist, right? And does it exist? Yes. What controller action does it point to? What controller action does it point to? The Revenger's controller with edit, right? So you're all correct. I'm just obviously doing that painful thing where I'm trying to draw it out. But you're correct, right? It's the Revenger's controller, the edit action. Does the Revenger's controller exist? Does the edit action exist? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like once you understand Rails, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you go through that flow, you'll build it every time. Every time. So, what do I need in edit? Well, let's remember what that route was, right? Little get action, little Revenger's action, little ID action, little edit action. That got annoying, sorry. Do I have params ID? Do I know which one I want to edit right now? Cool, and how do I get it? The Revengerinator, right, is the Revenger.find with the, and the params ID is coming from where again? Cool. This is why the RESTful routes were built, right? Just makes sense. And then what do I want to do here? What's the response? Render the edit. Cool. And do I need the Revenger narrator inside the view? I do. Inside the edit, right? So now, what does this tell me? Yeah, that the template's missing, right? So what do I need to do to fix that? Right, I need some edit action, edit view. Cool. This is all starting to like flow and make sense. Cool. So H2, right? Upgrade. Let me upgrade you. Little Beyonce. Oh, cool. And what else do we need? Cool. And then what are the attributes? Alias. Ooh, nice try. Ugh, not doing that again. Smart. Smart. Boom, boom. Oh, dang. I know, I was trying to get fancy. Cool. And what's this? Planet, I think. And this was going to be the organization ID. But is this what we need for the organization ID? No, what do we really need? We need some sort of like drop down, maybe the user wants to select it. All right, so here we're finally going to dive into the, cool. All right, does anyone remember this? Or do we want to just watch me pull it off the docs again? Who remembers this? Who just wants me to tell you what it is? Who wants to see it off the docs? Okay, sure. F.collection select, right? I tell you not to memorize these things, but you know, I've used it so often that it's there. So F.collection select indicates to me the first argument is going to be what? Okay, so I don't actually need to put that in. Let me write down what they all are. Let's see. Oh, money. Money. So what do we have? Like number one, right, is going to be the object for the collection select with the F dot, like the form dot builder, all right? First arg is going to be from the form 4, right? Does this make sense? Like from the form 4, what the object is from? I don't want to write things that doesn't make sense to you because this is literally for you. Okay. No, I mean, I want to word it better, but if this makes sense, then we're okay, yeah? Okay. Plus, plus. All right, what's the second one? It's going to be the key in the params. So it should be the, right, what you want in the params at a key of second argument. So the second argument should be what? What do you want the key to be? Right, it should be the organization ID. This is the key that's going to come across on the params. Cool. This makes sense. I'm trying to check in every time because this gets like muddy. All right. Great. What's the third argument? All right. Iterate over what? So the second argument is going to be the organization.all. But as we've learned, should the view query the model? Absolutely not. So how can we fix that? How can we make sure the controller is handling that? By going inside the controller, right? And just going like here, all the orgs. All right? Going back to my edit. Do I have access to all the organizations? All right? Cool. And then the fourth argument, you got to keep it spicy, right? If I just make them generic, it's no fun. The fourth argument is going to be the value in the params, right? This is a method call. So what is the value that I actually need to come across the params? Do I want the organization's name or do I want the organization's ID? Cool. And then the fifth, I can't believe I memorized this, is what will the user see? Cool. Psst. Also method call. All right? And this is going to be what? It's going to be like at orgs, right? Like for each of them, dot name. And then there's an optional argument. Do you want the prompt true? Do you guys like that? That sweet user experience? Or do you want something else? Sure. Prompto. True. And then let's see. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how, but I'm sure I can Google. You did it? Like something else? Like pick one. Dumbo head. Cool. And this is like optional argument. Optional argument, what is this like for prompt? I'm literally going to put the syntax there. Cool. Let's see if I did it. How do I check this page out? If I just simply click this, I'll see the view, right? That's what we think is going to happen. Nope. Okay, that's embarrassing. Oh, so there's something wrong with the collection select. Where though?
I think you need to leave the space between select and parentheses.
Oh yeah, ja. This right here. There it is. Oh, it didn't come out. Did something like this? Nope. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if I just put true. I don't think I wrote this right. You want to just, we'll figure it out. Ready? Yeah, Rails. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Let's check out those docs. Oh, dang. Where are those docs at? Oh, dang it. Oh, there it is. Oh, bless. Oh. What did I write wrong? Huh.
You left in a hash.
Oh, I left in the hash. Didn't like that. Interesting. Oops, I refreshed the wrong page. Oops. Say again? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's also embarrassing. But that's not what we were working on, but yeah. Huh. Weird. Let's test that theory. That is a good one. Watch this. See how nice it is to have this riles up? Organization. Right? The name. What is this? Do you guys have a class name? Hip array years. Right? I got no response from that. Apparently you guys don't like it. That was weird. Where is this app? Where did I build this app? It's one of these. Oh no, I'm trapped. I'm in JavaScript hell. Left? Oh, there it is. Powerful. Nope, that's not true. So what we could do is we could just see what I did wrong. Ready? Bloop. And go like this. Pow. First argument's there, organization ID is there, author, name, prompt, true. Did I spell it wrong?
Wait, are you missing the model?
I spelled it wrong. No, I didn't. No, the parentheses covers this. Interesting. Huh. Oh. Whoops. We all know where that came from. Huh. A lot. Like you get weird errors like this all the time. All right. Real quick before I like waste time. Does anyone actually want me to like dive in to figure this bug out, or do you just want to move on? Yeah.
No, I've already looked up, but I have a question on the label. So you're doing like f.label organization ID. How does that get the organization to show up? Like when I think about organization, I think about a number, right? The label. No,
Oh, you're talking about like this.
Yeah.
Got
Why
it.
does that happen? Why is it not a number, I guess?
This is a naming convention, this like name underscore ID. And so Rails will assume that it is for a table that exists that this is associated with. I'm sorry. The question is, when I put f.label and I put organization ID, this should in fact return a number. However, because it's the label, what happens is it will see that it's a foreign key that's attached to a table, and then it will return this in capitals because it knows that it's going to be referring to an organization. So it does some string manipulation where it just cuts off the ID, underscore ID, and then capitalizes it.
Does that have to be like the name, like the exact match of like what you call it in your table, or could you just?
You can customize this if you want to. Yeah, if I wanted to, I can put something like, I think this will work. Orgs. Yeah. Cool. Let's figure. Do you guys want to figure this out? This is bizarre. This is the old way, right? Where you have a symbol that points to a value of true. It's definitely. You guys want to do that dirtiness? No, that's not it. Say again?
I think I found like further down in the docs where that's how I
You mean this? It's not reading it for some reason. There's like things that you can do with these. Yeah, see, like it takes in arguments, and then you can do other things with them. But that messes with JavaScript. So like this is how it reads, right? What is the object? The method, the collection, so like the .all, the value that's going to come across the params, the text that comes and displays, and then any options. Right now, options, this is a default value. You've seen this in Mod 1 or no? If you haven't, this is how you set default arguments. And that is you tell it what it is, and then you assign it a default value. So right now, options will always be this like empty hash. And then you can just override it. That's weird. It should have worked. This should work. Bloop, bloop. And then wrapping this in a hash. Oops, I refreshed the wrong page. That is weird. All right, that's not important. I'll figure it out offline, and I'll just Slack it out to you guys. Great.
Why don't we omit the model in the like the very beginning of the collection?
Say again?
So we go straight to organization ID.
Yes.
Oh, is it just on the edit page instead of something already selected?
That might be true.
Because in the selection page, the edit page.
No, that doesn't make sense because you should. It should prompt you anyway. Yeah. I like where your head's at. All right. So to answer, oh, you good? You got it. Right. Because of the F block, the first argument, which is like the model, will be assumed for a revenger. In case you forget, it's right here. I put.
We did the one for one where like we were taking that out.
Yeah, I took out the F dot, in which case I will have to pass in the revenger as the first argument. Cool. All right. So. It's not super important. I don't want to waste a lot of time because I want to get to some other stuff. So I want to show you like a cool refactor. All right, so here, let's get rid of this. Trash. Gone. Boom. Still works, right? So is everyone cool on this like edit page? What happens here? Do you guys want to finish the edit action or are you good? Good? All right, so I want to show you something. So we have def show, yeah? And what do I need to do in show? Right, I need to grab the model, right? I need to grab the object. with the param set of key of ID. Cool? That's the model, and then the response is going to be a render show. Here, the rule of thumb for what is known as dry, like don't repeat yourself, is typically if you use something more than often than not 3 or more times, you should refactor it. So here I see this code, and you know what? This code, they look the same. So what I can do is in my private, I'm going to create a refactor, and that is going to be the find the revenger. Cool. And it's just going to do this. Yeah? So I should be able to call this instead. Bloop. Bloop. Right. So what's happening here is that in each of these methods, right, the show, the edit, the destroy, I have to find it. The way I can read this in English is that before the show action, before the edit action, and before the destroy action, I need to be able to find this revenger. Remember, we call these methods inside the controllers actions. There is something called before action in Rails. And I can specify, is it like this or this? I think it's like this. I can call find the revenger. If I leave it alone, what do you think this means within this controller? Right, it means before any action, call this method, which will give me access to this instance variable, finding params of ID. Do I need it in every single action? No, so I should just say only inside the show, edit, and the destroy. And then I can go, oh, I'm calling it already before these. So I can go, bloop, bloop, bloop. And that's like a much cleaner way to do things.
Question on that. I might have already heard, but one thing that makes me think about is how do we get the params ID? Is that like locally available somehow? Because we're not passing it through like explicitly that I can see into like any of these arguments.
Correct. So the question is like, how is this sort of getting the params, right? Specifically the params ID that I'm calling here. And is params available globally? So the first thing I'll say is params, the hash is available globally, but what it contains in it will change request to request. So what's happening is this. That's why I wrote these here, to help me help you. When I get to the edit, right, how do I get to this edit action? Yes, the user must hit the appropriate route for the route to point to this controller action. Does that make sense? So let's go check out routes real quick. Inside this, the one I didn't make, embarrassing. All right. Once we hit this route, it points to the controller action. Inside the Revenger's controller, it will say, line 2, before you do anything, call this method only on the edit. So it's going to go, wait, am I doing index right now? No. Am I doing show right now? No. I'm doing edit. Oh, cool. Before I hit anything else, I have to execute this function, this method, which I will literally be running find with the params ID. Inside the edit, do I have params ID? And it's going to go. Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't know if that explanation was good. I try my best. Okay, cool. So, yeah.
What would happen if you didn't have edit in there? You don't really use action when you're in the index anyways, it wouldn't matter. We're gonna get like only show edit
Oh, if I include index, is that the question?
Yeah, or if you just have like before action,
Right, so what happens is this. It will matter. The question is like, what if I call index on this? What will happen is in index, right? How do I hit index? Get to Revengers, right? So when I do get to Revengers, and it invokes this method, it will go, great, at Revenger equals revenge.find, params ID. Do I have params ID? No, and then this will break. So index will break. Because it will say, hey, cannot find a Revenger at params nil. So you shouldn't just be like, oh, let's just call for everything and like, you know, be lazy about it, because when the code executes, it will break, but you will understand why. And then you could fix it. And that's like arguably more important. Ciao.
Does the before action have any content in the
No, not really. Because what it's doing is it's calling this method, which is the exact same thing as if I did this. Right? Like, it has to do this anyway. It has to make that query to the database anyway. But that's a very good question. I like the optimization thinking. Are there any questions on this before action refactor? All right. Just starting to get you in the mindset of a developer, I see before action. Right? Is there any other methods that you feel like you might be able to guess that Rails has built in? After action. Right?
middle action?
There is, it's not called middle action, but there is something like that, and that one's very complicated. But after action would be like, great. So before action calls it right before it enters the method. What do you think after action does? Right, it finishes this, and then it'll call it right after the edit. Why might we use something like this? I mean, you started a sentence, and I was just trying to give you the floor. Well, the redirect is already in here. The render or the redirect is already in the method.
You want to play copyright and
Not exactly, but let me explain. So yes, you can do that. What I could do is I can remove render show, have an after action that literally just does render show, and then call it on show, and then delete this line. So if there's multiple things that redirect to the same page, I can do that. However, the idea is each one of these should do its own action inside, but after action could be like, let's just say I updated my user, my Revenger. I could probably send them a text or an email that said, hey, you just updated your account. If this wasn't you, change your password. Right? Like, so this like happens after the action. So there are other things that you can do after certain things happen. And if you want it to happen all the time, instead of render or edit, you can just be like, hey, send email here. But if you're going to do that several times, you can refactor it into an after action. Right? So just trying to take the chains off CRUD and just start doing whatever you want. Cool? Do you see, like, now that you understand CRUD, you can like expand your mind to like other features? Trying to learn custom features and like still wrap your head around CRUD is like not fun. So let's take a look at this. All right, boom, done. All right, heavy check mark. Cool. You guys want to do that link to? A little link to action? Or are you guys okay? We'll do it because it was asked. Great. So inside my index, let's just say I want to actually link to the show page. All right, I still have my r.alias, and let's see what that looks like. Bloop. Oops, that's not the one. Let me upgrade you. Eat. Right? You have Captain Canada. What if I wanted to like click on Captain Canada and show me Captain Canada's show page? Right. I would simply go bloop, link to, and then this is what displays, very similar to button 2. And then I would say what the route is. And what is the route? ID, right? So let's string interpolation. Cool. We also have the helper path, right? The revenger, no S, because it's singular. It's one, must be the show. Passing in which revenger? You can put the ID, just the object. It's up to you. But that is correct. I done goofed. The revenger path. Passing in the which one? Because remember, the revenger path in routes gives me which one of these? All right, the show. Does it need to know the ID? Yeah. So naturally then, I should, I'm too lazy. I wasn't gonna find it. It needs to know which one. This is gonna be what the ID becomes.
Can you just put like that instance?
You can just do this if you wanted to. This is too much syntactical sugar, but this will work if you just put the object, because it's expecting a route. If you give it just the object, Rails will infer what you want. If you let Rails infer too much, it becomes difficult to debug. So this will work. If you're comfortable using it, thumbs up. I don't see, in my opinion, a difference between the two, as long as you understand it. I like using the path. It's just more specific. Cool? And then a link to will do what HTTP verb by default. And a button to will do what HTTP verb by default. Post, right? So do I need to change this verb? No, right? So I can leave this alone. I do not have to pass in the method because it will default to get. Does that make sense? Great. So let's take a look. What happens when I click this thing? It should try to take me to the show page, but did I make it? Did we make it though? So of course it says template missing. Why template and not like route or controller error? That's right. One more time. /revengers, right? It's a get to /ID, which would give me this, which tells me the revengers controller, which does exist, the show action, which does exist, and render show, but does show exist? No. Show me the money. Cool. Right? All right, so are we cool with like a link to? All right, we cool to a button to? Yeah, you could drop them anywhere, right? So for example, even in the show page, I can just be like, great, I don't know, let's go to link to, this is, you can do it anywhere you want. It's the beauty of Rails. I can link to home, right? Let's drop this home emoji. That's it with the tree, because I'm fancy. All right, and this can just go to, I don't know, /. What does / give me? Yay, you're on Rails, right? So if I just go here, home, bloop, yay, you're on Rails. Just go wherever I want, right? Cool, like revengers. We can go to the index if we wanted to. All right, head back, refresh, boom. All right, you just throw this link to anywhere you want. You've got the power.
Speaking of that / for like our app that we're building, making like a welcome page count as a custom route.
Yes. Making a welcome page counts as a custom route. You guys want to do that? Watch, I'll show you something cool. This is not required of you to learn, but you can always do root. I think it's root 2 or root. I don't know, let's try both. A root is going to do a controller action, right? Revengers, 2. Let's do welcome. I don't know. Sure. Revengers controller. Is there a welcome action here? Def welcome. And then in my Revengers, I have a welcome page. It says yeet. I don't know. Let's go to Cat to Canada and go. Oh, I routed it back. I railed it back to index. Yeet. There it is. It's because once you understand Rails, you can do anything you want. Does that feel more possible now? Cool. Good. Yeah, raise the roof. Yeah. Cool. So this is just a get to slash, right? Oh, that's my fault. I didn't explain this very well. Root is the exact same thing as writing get to slash. This is the same thing. This is my fault.
I remember it as writing it as root revengers, but
Oh, no, I didn't explain. That's good clarification. Yeah, a get to slash will do this. And then we check the Revengers controller for a thing called welcome. This will implicitly render, right? And then I just boop, boop. Are there any questions on Rails, how the routing works, how it knows which controller action to go to, how you can make controller actions a link to, a button to, sort of like the full CRUD, the before action, form for, or link to as well, did that, collection select done. Oh, we didn't do validations. Good docs. All right. Cool. Let's make a validation on the Revenger. Actually, we have nothing for organization, right? In terms of like actions. Let's take that out. Oh, get out of here. Smart. Protect our app. Let's put a validation on Revenger. That goes in the controller, the view, or the model. Cool. You want a custom validation, right? So is it validate or validates? S or no S?
No S.
Are we confident on this? Because I can always just Google it. I can always Yahoo it. Yeah? Do you guys want to check out Yahoo? A little Yahoo search? All right. Yes, yes. Rails custom validations. What do you mean, boo? Look at that. I have an account. I'm one of them, yeah. Let's see. Performing custom validations. Boom. All right, custom methods. All right, custom method is in fact without the S. Solve the mystery. Isn't it nice? Do you remember arguing back in the 90s? There's no way to verify whether you're right. Now it's like, give me 2 seconds, and you're like angrily searching. You're like, ooh, you about to find out. Great. How does this work though? All right. I need some sort of custom method right here. All right. And then where's this custom method coming from? Ooh, I don't know. Freaking right here. Bloop. Hey, if I get too snarky, just let me know. I'm like getting really comfortable with you guys, and my guard is down. So I'm sorry. It's more fun, you know? It is recording. It is recording. And there goes my job, right? That's all right. You get a better instructor. Like, you win either way. So this if statement, because we only want this validation to run if the following is true. So what can we say? What if we did like alias, right? If alias is like an empty string, then we can errors add. How do we do that? I don't know. Errors add. Wow. Add some errors for the alias, and it just be like, I don't know. Real name, please. Right? I don't know. What do we want this error to be? Huh? We over me. Cool? I don't know. Let's try to make one. Ugh, I didn't build a new page. You're making me do everything. All right, cool. Let's do this. Oh, I was almost in the show. See how happens when you clean this up? Oh, it's so powerful. Cool. All right, def new. Why did I build def new? Yep, to create a new one, right? Do I have the new route? I do. Little def new action, right? I need the revenger, right? At revenger, the revenge equals to revenger.new. I don't want to add to the before action because that will try to find. Here I'm doing revenger new. Actually, we might be able to. We might be able to. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, I want to show you something cool. Ready? So we have revenger.find. Oops, that's not going to work. .find with, I don't know, 1. That'll work, right? I can also do revenger.find by the ID. I have to specify what to find by, right? 1. If I do revenger.find with, say, 9, do I have 9 revengers? No, my organization sucks. So it returns this error. But if I use find by, it says nil. Ooh. Can I, if I change this to find by, oh, no, this will just return nil. No, we want an empty object, right? Oh, I tried getting fancy. It wasn't going to happen, huh? Then it'll just make it, and we don't want to do that. Yeah, so, all right, so Revenger new, sorry. I tried to get fancy. Didn't work out. Possibly. Possibly. So let's do this new, right? Do I have a new here? I encourage questions. You know, if I want to answer your questions. So if you have something, or maybe I don't know, sometimes that happens. Like you start a thing, and like you think through the answer, and you're like, nah, I'm good, I got it, and I get that too. So we did. So I can say make a new one. Your org needs more power. Right? Moonlight. Fighting evil by moonlight. All right, cool. So, you guys know what I'm talking about? Yo, that person never runs from a real fight. She is the one named. Very good. So, in the edit, right? I'm just gonna copy this whole thing, comments and all, right? Or actually, no, we should probably not do that. Try. Let's just do it, right? You know, whatever. I can go bloop, copy this, put it in the form, bloop, and then inside edit, I have to go bloop, render the form, partial. Oh, that's not it.
Would you run into a problem because you said add red and not add?
Say again?
Because you said in the control you said add red and not add revenger, which is what's in the form. Would you run
Good shout, good shout. I have to follow the convention, otherwise it'll bust on me. You know, break, busted. All right. So the form looks good, edit looks good, new looks good. Let's test this out. What's the route? Okay, it's all right. Don't be scared. Oh, okay. If alias double equals empty string, expected keyword end. No, I ended that. I just said.
Oh, add alias or
Oh. Huh. Didn't like the collection select. Undefined method map for nil. Oh, I need. Got it. I also need the orgs. Inside the new, because the form needs it. Yeet. Does everyone get that? All right. Cool. Nice. So that means that if I try to create this revenger, what happens? Could not create. The action create could not be found. You see this? Remember I warned you like a week ago? I was like, great, CRUD is cool, but it's like, right? It's kind of boring. All right. And the strong params? Y'all killing me. All right, here we go. Revenger equals to revenger dot create with the the revenger params. Right? You can name it anything you want, but it is in fact private. So we'll define it right here. The revenger params. And what is that? Is everyone cool with why we're putting :revenger? Thumbs up, yeah? Why? All right. Permit with the attributes of alias, captain planet, and organization ID. Ugh. Oops. All right, boom, here we go, ready? Let's try to save it now. Bloop. Rails 5, there's an issue with it. It will try to save a file if like the path doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, oh, I think you're trying to download it. I'm like, okay. So we need to redirect to the Avenger's path. Sure. Huh. Let's take a look. Roll back. No bueno. So how can we actually get these error messages to display? What is the thought process here? Right? We're going to use Flash. So if the Revenger is valid, then redirect to the Revenger's path. But, right? Imagine that. Like, but. Else. I'm going to write my own proclamation. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, but instead. All right? It'll be like, yeah, I'll do that. But instead. Right? All right, else. What do we want to happen? We want to store the errors for one more request. All right? Thanks, Flash. Boom, bless up. So we use the Flash hash and say that there's like some errors that are going to come up. And they will be the revenger.errors. We can always check the full messages. Yeah? And this will redirect to the new Revenger path. Where does this come from? Resources will build you the helper, the as for this. All right? If you didn't have a helper, then just hard code the route. Cool. Is that enough to display the errors on the view? All right, what else do we need? All right, inside the new or the edit, which is actually pulling from the form, all right, we can do if flash errors, right? Because remember, we're doing that nil wrapping. This space is trash. All right, cool. Then we want to do what? Flash at a key of errors is what type of data structure? An array. The error. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right. And then we want to actually display the error. Cool. It's just a string. We can put them in like a p. Let's make it fancy. Let's put an ordered list. Oops. Cool. An ordered list. Ugh. What happened to my indentation? And then we'll just drop these in a li tag. Cool. Look up, look up, look up, look up. All right. So we don't even have a new here. Someone want to walk me through how we can make a new button on the index? On the index, right? Do I want to put a new button for each of these Avengers? No, so I'm just gonna drop it right here. Ready? Or make a new one. Smiley face. And then we can do a quick old link to action to new Revenger. Right? I think we know which emoji that is. This one. What is the route for this? Cool. So let's take a look at the index. Ooh. Powerful. We over me. Custom validations. We figured out when we would want to use it in the iterator, not in the iterator for like a link to or a button to. We added a custom validation, and we were able to display error messages. Question?
The alias, how do you get rid of that or change that?
I think we just get rid of it. It's been a long time since I've done a message like this. Undefined method. I think we need it. Let me check. You're talking about like, remember this? Get out of here. The valid method will verify the errors, collection is empty, so your custom validation, blah, blah, blah. You can do this. You can add errors. Oh no, sorry, this is just checking the errors. This is the errors array. I think you actually need this, huh? Under the name hash, yeah. It's under that hash.
Maybe we can just grab that hash before that add.
Yeah, you can add errors that are related to the object's state as a whole instead of being related to a specific attribute. So you can do errors base and then push in the string. Let's do that. Boom. This person is invalid because that is not okay, right? Because not okay 2019, right? Can't say that. Cool. Boom. There it is. Nailed it. I actually forgot how to do that, and I just looked through the docs. Power of the reference. Docs for the win. That's basically what your life's going to be like. It's like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, I've seen this before. And then you just look it up, right? All right. So before I shoot myself in the foot again. Yeah, nope, that's good. Are there any other questions about Rails? Otherwise, go build your Rails project, and Vicky and I will be around to help you out. Cool?